Morning, it's Wednesday, May 5th, 2021. Harney County Court is going into session for our working part of the agenda. We will come back and work on the work session part as far as voucher approval. We ran late with an executive session, so we will do the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody.
Ready for minutes?
Yep.
I move to approve the Harney County Court meeting minutes for April 21st, 2021.
I second that.
Seconded to approve the April 21st, 2021 minutes. Any further discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. And we'll open the line of public comment.
I did have two additions to the agenda that I want to make.
Okay.
And one could probably go before the number 4 on new business, and that would be the vacant position on the NRAC. Making that public knowledge for anybody that wanted to submit an application for that. And then number 6, after the executive, I'd like to bring up the topic of the HR job description and position title.
And then also in just in general discussion, our cloud, the new software, or not software, but meeting agenda minutes platform that we have, the cloud, town cloud, thank you. A little discussion on that. Thank you.
Welcome to AT&T's teleconference service. Please enter your access code, followed by the pound sign. To join the conference as the host, press star. Otherwise, please enter your password, followed by the pound sign.
I'm looking forward.
There are 1 participants on the call, including you. You are joining your conference as the host. For a menu of available commands, press star pound.
So we're those not used to it, we are the one caller right now, so we'll be on the line. Also, 2 late items. We have 2 anniversary award notifications to mention. John Miller, 10 years of service. Started with the county May 17th of 2011. County's in the correctional facility. And from the road department, 5 years of service, started May 31st, 2016. Joel Nasa Tawia?
Yeah, you did a good job.
All right. We like to make sure folks are acknowledged for their time with the county. Get their name in the paper and it's, okay. For that, opportunity for public comment.
Okay, I'm Barbara Kennedy, and today I'm representing the development of a Harney County Broadband Advisory Committee. We are the only county in District 60, if not the state, that does not have an advisory committee. And about 2 years ago, they tried to orchestrate one, and some of the major players in the tech department were refusing to share information, and so it kind of melted. The meeting that we had yesterday was very positive. We had a meeting that was solely tech people with the executive person, and it was extremely informational. We had Dr. Kabur there from Oregon. We had Joe Fernell there from the state Broadband Advisory Council. And we had 5 people, including Bryce Mertz, online, and to discuss mapping. And we had 6 to 8 people show up. So we only had 1 person that did not, of the tech field that we have locally, that was not there, and that was due to a vacation. So I was really excited about the participation. It was very good. Everybody was positive. I think in the last 2 years, they really see the benefit of sharing. And so we talked about the stages of doing this development of this committee. And we see it as first we need a new needs assessment of the community, and there was a lot of input from the different parties as to the types of surveys that we need to get out to the community in terms of speed. If we could work through the schools and make it a student assignment of what is your speed at home, you know, and what services you have or you don't have. Because our main problem when our providers are writing their proposals is they don't have time when the funds are announced to go out and find out what the needs are in the community. And so this would fill a hole in that. And then, so after a needs assessment, and along with the needs assessment, we need some mapping that shows where the services are now, so that we can also, and by doing that, determine where the services aren't. So I'm here today to ask you to participate with us. As I saw in the budget board work, you do operate to act as a pass-through for funding for grants. And so we would like you to do that. I've talked to different organizations, and everybody wants to be on the board, but they don't want to be the administrator. So we need to set up our own administration, but we need a vehicle to do, to help with the pass-through for a grant initially. So I'm here to request that today.
As well as the county participating in the mapping process with our GIS department.
Right.
The two Fs.
So does sometimes the committees or groups that get in granting than counties can? So I would assume we'd have to be the name on the grant. Is that going to hinder anything?
You know, I'm not sure on that. I talked to Allison Fields, so she asked me to have the county or one of the cities on board. I think the county says all of our discussion was in terms of serving everyone, you know.
And I'm not opposed. I'm not opposed. I just want to make sure
Yeah.
it's not a hindrance. So sometimes.
So, but Allison and me, the first one I would be contacting, and there's a few others that we could possibly could get funding through, but I'm kind of following her direction.
Okay. I talk with her every other week.
Okay.
Or more.
Great.
I assume we're in agreement.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, and follow with Allison.
Okay, I'll be contacting her, and she can have that discussion with you as well.
Okay, fine.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Gordon. How did, just questions that you and I talked prior with My Wave, and who was the first one you mentioned?
Justin Chase? was
No, the guy that. we
Oh,
had-
Steve Carvalho, yeah.
Is there anything getting worked out there? I mean, we're,
You know, we didn't have that discussion, and I will say that originally, because I didn't know exactly where this meeting was going, I signed up for the 40-minute meeting, and it was gonna be really brief. I just wanted to know everybody on board. And Dr. Cabota called in and he said, you know, we can put this on our account, and so you have extended time. I was extremely glad we did, because we just kept talking after he was offline, you know, but we didn't get in the middle of the conversation. Both Jeff and Justin were on in the meeting.
all right,
And very positive, I would say.
thank you. Becky.
Hi, Gretchen Bates, Chair of the Harney County Republican Party, and
You're fine.
okay. I'm also also representing the Harney County Republican Party, if you guys don't mind, our two PCPs, Larry Williams and William Walker. William's actually running for the Burnside School District, School Board too. The reason that I'm here, I guess the primary reason, I have a secondary thing too, but let me just address the first thing, is as you probably know, we are really concerned about the passage of the Second Amendment sanctuary ordinance. I talked with Pete briefly, and I understand that you had a work session this morning to address that, or you're going to continue that. So my question is, number one, is when do you think that's going to be scheduled? And number two, I'm hearing that there is kind of what sounds like to me an intimidation effort to intimidate you all into not addressing it and not passing it. And I'm very concerned about that. When I spoke with Pete briefly, he said that you guys are concerned that the DA and the sheriff can still do their job. Here's the number one thing that you all as elected officials, every elected official in this country and every military member swears to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America. That is primary. The U.S. Constitution and the Oregon Constitution. And so I would strongly encourage you to think about that when you are looking at trying to juggle, oh, is the DA and the sheriff still going to be able to do their job? It's, okay.
Calm down.
You know what I'm saying?
But
And so what I need to know is, number one, when is it going to be scheduled? And number two, is there truth to the fact that what I'm hearing is there's significant intimidation going on?
There is not.
Okay.
there's not no intimidation.
Okay, all right. So, when is it going to be, when do you think it's going to be scheduled?
Let me not correct you. I mean, yeah, what I said is right. But we all uphold, we all take oaths to uphold the laws of the state of Oregon and the country. So don't take that out of context.
Oh, no, I'm not.
And that's what I'm saying.
And I did, and I'm
That's for
sorry.
the sheriff and the DA and all
Yeah.
this. So so don't take that out of context. That's what I meant when I said it.
Right, right. Well, it sounds odd. You know, it kind of sounds odd. And I know that you have to walk a fine line. But here, you know what happened, what's happening in the Senate right now is that yesterday, all of a sudden they decided, instead of June 15th for voting on Senate Bill 554B, they decided to call it and vote for it this morning. So that completely disenfranchises people that were thinking that it still had weeks to try to gather support to push back against that horrible, gun storage bill and then the CHL and prices. So anyway, when do you think this is scheduled?
So we met this morning for an hour and 20 minutes with legal counsel. DA and sheriff here in the news update. I don't know if I can give you an exact date because things were revealed, discussed that might take more discussion. I don't know. So I told you in 2 weeks. Next meeting, might be able to make some action. I think I've even had that conversation with Commissioner Darrow.
I still feel comfortable putting it on in 2 weeks because it's still going to need some more public discussion regardless of.
So what do you guys?
We aren't making any decisions
Right,
at
okay.
this point. But
So
it
what
needs more
is
public
the path forward? How can we protect the citizens of Harney County from these bills?
Well, there's more than one path forward is what we're
That's
in
kind of what came
conversation
out-
this
that's what
morning.
came out of the meeting.
And so we're going to analyze both paths to see which would be most effective or maybe choose both paths. So there's some more.
Well, nebulous.
Yes, it is nebulous because we need to get some more information before we bring it to the public to tell you
Okay.
the thoughts on that.
And
But-
so what has been passed in other counties, someone here does not feel comfortable with following what they passed? Is that what it
There's a variety of things that have been
Right.
passed if you
Right.
look at the
But
actual
there's-
documents.
so
there is some
yeah, right.
differences.
But there's a template out there that you could ostensibly choose
Yeah,
and
and
say, that's the one that we're going to follow. So,
when we have that one finalized, that is the document that will come out to the Harney County public is our version of that because everybody's doing their own version of it, making some changes that they feel improves the document. And so Harney County will have a version of that to look at.
I'm ready to put it on the agenda immediately. That's me.
okay, and when you say put it on the agenda, does that mean then go ahead and have a vote?
By the county court, yes.
Yes,
I
that's
am
what I
ready as soon as we can do that.
Okay. And are you still in favor of putting a sunset clause in there that says, we passed it as county court per se, if that happens, But then, let's say next May, when we have, the next election, then that would come before the voters. Is that still
I'm
something?
in favor of a sunset clause that identifies a path to the voters.
Okay.
Yes.
I guess I'm taking up enough time. And sorry I got heated, it's just, what they're pulling is
We're all
just
shocked about what's going on. in
dirty.
We're all
Well,
shocked.
Well, we shouldn't be shocked.
Well, I mean,
I
when that
disagree with
happened,
what's going on.
I know, it's just, it feels like, it's been years since we've been talking about this. And, it's only come really seriously before you recently, so, as far as this year.
well, the fact that they moved up the vote in the legislature, before I was like, I want to just, when it comes before the county, have a first reading, a second reading.
Right, exactly.
If it
Right.
is moving forward. But now, I'm thinking more like emergency clause where it would go into effect right away, but that's just me.
Yeah,
And,
the
we're
emergency clause is
still
on it all of a sudden.
doing the fine details, but I don't think the fine tuning will ever be done, frankly. So that's why I'm more ready than that.
Okay.
I put a lot of time and effort into it,
Yeah, it
as you
sounds like you
know,
have,
over the last few months, so I
Yeah,
just feel more ready.
and we really appreciate that. So, you're still deciding whether it's gonna be on the agenda?
It could be on the agenda.
Okay, it could be on the agenda, but that doesn't mean that you'll vote on it or take it.
Could just be more discussion. It depends on, I guess, our research between now and 2 weeks from now.
Okay, well,
Where are we at? I mean,
let's light a fire.
we're-
I mean, that's, I appreciate your work, Patty.
Thank you.
Yeah, she
There's-
has
and
done a
whatever-
lot of work.
and we know that
improving
whatever
that.
passes at the state, it's got 90 days before it goes into law, whether it's from Sendai, so we'll be ahead of that.
If we do emergency, at this point.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
I'd just say, keep it short. You said everything.
Oh, well, yeah, I get
There's a fiscal side of things too. If it's something we were to put in place, we could be sued on, that would not come under our insurance. That's a liability the county has to face and consider. So there, as Commissioner Shellman said, there's a lot of things we gotta consider. It's not that we
wanna
don't
make sure
agree.
the public's educated on some of those
Yeah, it's
pieces
not that
of
we
it.
don't, we
So
all agree.
You don't want
No
people
question.
considering just part of the pie, like, you need to understand the whole pie and make a conscious decision with the full knowledge. And so that's what, obviously, we need to get it on the agenda and talk about
Right.
the
Can
whole
I ask
picture.
one follow-up question? So, and a couple other resolutions that the county's passed, or ordinances, I should say, they had essentially a back date. So you went back to any laws before February 2021, we will, as a county, would, adhere to and all that, comply with. Would you then be putting something like that in place?
It's in the current.
That's in the.
It's in the current draft.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay, all right, good, thank you. Sorry.
Which is different than some of the other counties that have passed them previous to us. So
Mhm.
they say those documents have had a template, but it's evolved with different counties
Right.
taking a look at it.
And I'd just like to say for a minute on the topic of pressure is, there is pressure on, if you want to call it pressure, in that people will call you and express or speak very forcefully at county court. People express themselves to us, which is good. Sometimes, there's quite a bit of emotion and
Right.
firm talk sometimes. And I don't consider it undue. I believe it's part of the process. I don't consider it, pressure that is hurting my ability to do my job in the most objective, fair way I possibly can.
Yeah,
But there are,
right.
I've heard from, different sides, yeah.
I just heard that, as far as legal, I heard that there were some threats of lawsuits, and that.
Things get said, yes.
All right, appreciate it.
Larry?
Yeah, my name's Larry Williams. I'm a ECP for rural Harney County Republicans. And I'm just really here to support Gretchen and the Republicans, the Harney County Republicans, in this effort. even as far as listening to what's going on with the state of Jefferson and their issues with it. And I am aware, you know, that the county may not be aware of what's going on and what's in these documents, but this has been going on a long time already, you know, over a year. You know, when Tim first came in here and was started pushing buttons. So, you know, I think more people are aware than maybe you're aware of, but that's my personal opinion. But I would just encourage you guys to please be expedient with this. We have, as the Republicans, lots to do, and we've been working on that. You know, we had folks here a couple of weeks ago that just were a godsend if anybody went to the meeting and listened to what they had to say about supporting the local businesses that are hurting. You know, these Kevin Maddox and these guys are on top of this, but they're not getting the support that we really need. We would love to feel, as we go back to our meetings and our people, that you guys are actually behind us rather than being a roadblock. So I just encourage you to, let's get this on the agenda, let's be expedient, and please, you know, it's important to us. I know it's important to you, but, you know, you are what we have right now. You know, so here we are, we're working with that. We're trying to make it impress you, I guess, with the direness of what we feel. And the example of what happened with last night's bill coming up this morning, you know. They're cramming that down our throats faster, and we talked with Mark, we talked with Lynn, you know, those guys' hands are almost just totally tied. You know, and we would hate for you guys to feel the same way. You know, so there are options, but thanks for hearing me. I'm concerned.
Did somebody join us on the phone for public comment?
Hi, this is Jeff Rosenfield. I'm sorry I dialed in late.
Oh, okay. Welcome, Jeff. Any public comment from you, sir?
Oh, thanks for the opportunity. I have nothing right now.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so can I say one thing real quick? You guys probably all are aware of what's happening in Baker, with the Baker passing that,
Baker City?
the Baker City, yes.
City.
And so, what I said,
It's an emergency.
yes. So I'm going to request perhaps to be on the agenda, formally on the agenda at the next meeting or the meeting after that, to present something similar for Harney County, your consideration for Harney County. I don't know, you know, considering, how far it would go, but I think it's something that the people, Republicans here and other conservatives here would like the county to consider.
I asked that you also reach out to the city council, so.
That's
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
that's the other thing I would
yeah.
say, yes, I
think
forgot to include that, yeah.
You know, often
Starting
people
there.
look at the county and forget that we have cities within the
Yes.
county that need to come on board just as
Have
much.
their own,
For sure,
have
yeah.
their own jurisdictions.
Okay, so, anyway.
Okay.
That's it.
Old business, approval minutes on there twice. Skip
Yeah, I noticed that.
to D2. So review and discussion of county-owned land sale request, parcel 48-150, Jeremy Kangur from Boise, Idaho. We tabled this in our last meeting. I got a more detailed map for you with all the surrounding landowners. And then one that zooms out a little farther, that just shows you where the roads are.
So which one
Fields is right up here.
is it in here though?
It's this guy. Oh, where's, it's that?
That's right.
Sorry. Mine got highlighted.
It was like, I'm assuming it's that.
So this is a 160-acre piece. He has been to the county. He came here and did his research. I don't know if he's been out to the parcel, but he's been to the county. Had discussions, unlike the other one that we rejected last week, or 2 weeks ago. There appears to be access through different parts. You can kind of see the roads on there. But that's becomes his problem, not ours. Something that due diligence he should do before he goes through with this, in my opinion.
Yeah, to have a title that actually gives him access if he has another.
And I did look back on the deeds, so you asked how we got it. It was foreclosure in 2012. I can't remember the individual's name. But there is no, access, any access records on the deed.
There.
There is not. That's my research for you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Judge, what are your thoughts in doing that?
I'd like to get 160 acres back on the tax roll. So, and if we go through the process and a neighbor buys it and outbids them, it's on the tax rolls. But I don't think this is, personally, I don't think it's one I want to deny. I think we gotta go through the process.
Knowing that there are no access on the
Yeah,
deal. I
just
mean, that
because-
puts him at the liability that if he buys it, he still has to pay the taxes on it.
Yeah.
He may not have access.
And I
to
think,
it.
we tell him that up front.
Yeah.
When we call him and say, yeah, we kind of go ahead and approve it. You know you're aware, it's your responsibility to know that you have access to this, not the county's.
Is that something the planning director does, or who does that?
Carrie
Yeah,
would go
that-
time in
I
conversation.
would really appreciate that transparency
Yeah,
for
being
them,
upfront.
you know, just in case they listen.
And all the pieces over here that I don't have labeled are Sherburne's, or no, I take that back. When I said that to Carrie, she said actually Cocoa Mountain, or pretty much bought all of this now. So it's all pretty much one ownership down there. But one Sherburne's have sold it.
When it says USA, what does it mean?
That's Jeff's.
That's BLM.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Jeff owns it.
Just want to make sure.
The American people want to eat, not Jeff.
We need
I
you to
just see
say,
if you're ever
just wanted to
sleeping."
make sure, seeing if you're multitasking over there.
So,
Yeah, I think as long as we're transparent with it, I have no problem with putting it out there and contacting the neighbors and letting them know that.
yeah, we have to go through all that process.
I agree.
Because everybody gets a letter, everybody gets the opportunity to bid. I think the one point to the individual is that access. Are you aware that that's you need to know if you have it. It's not hard.
Okay, I can vote.
Motion, yeah, we need a motion. I'd make a motion to approve get my words.
Do we have it on?
No, not really.
Well, it was in here. I have part of it. Anyway, moved to yeah, place account number 48150 to honor the land sale request for account number 48150, Southern Harney County, for Jeremy Kangor. To go through the normal process upon notifying him first about access.
That's over that.
Then moved and seconded to approve the county land sale request, parcel 48150, for Jeremy Kangor, Boise, Idaho. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We'll move forward with that. Geographic naming requests. So while I was playing with maps, blew this one up for you too. And I'll have to make a correction right off the bat. I put on the agenda Southern Mount here, like it's actually Southern Harney.
It's on the other side of the highway.
It's south, very south end of the refuge. well, I shouldn't say that, it doesn't go quite under pressure. South end of Harney Lake. 6.8 miles northwest of Saddle Butte, 4.1 miles northeast of Weed Lake. It's an unnamed spring. There's a geographic naming board who's brought this forward to us. Former AOC director Mike MacArthur has been on this board for years and years. He emailed me this, wanted the county's comments on it. It's an unnamed hot springs. They have reached out to the tribe and got no response. They reached out to us previously. We didn't respond back, so I didn't think we had a problem with it. They want to name it Antelope Springs. Pronghorn, sorry. there we did. Pronghorn hot springs. I don't see an issue with it personally. This is privately owned, this one square you see here. This bigger one.
That
It's
where
not,
it lies within that?
it is just outside of, it's just a,
That way the point of the deal almost looks like it lies within that parcel. Does it not?
So it looks like right here.
it's right on the edge of it.
And those are the dots within that. But that is a private parcel.
That is, so, but they said, I looked closely at that, because it's definitely on the record.
So is it like right there?
It's right on the edge.
Right there?
So when I zoomed
And
in.
it runs onto the private?
Yeah. Well, that's gonna be your runoff for it, but it's right here off this road. Those two roads converge. I mean, that dot that they put on there.
Is big number on the side of it.
So the purpose of naming it is what?
It's just identification. So, for example,
Step
if somebody
two, step
fell
three,
into Mickey Hot
step
Springs and you call EMS, they know where Mickey Hot Springs is. You fall into this hot springs and they're like, I don't know what the name of it is, they know where you're at. I mean, it does help with instances like that, I guess would be one of my suggestions.
I'm wondering if is a puddle this big or, has anybody seen this?
How robust a spring are we talking?
Is it an eagle nest?
I burned my toe with the spring.
Must be, yeah, something similar to that. I mean,
Pete, are you guys kind of like referring to the Eagle Nest Hot Springs?
That's what
That's
I
the
thought.
other side.
That's the other
Okay,
side.
all right.
This is south. So, and I'm assuming it's Saddle Butte right by the highway. There's two Saddle Buttes out there.
Would it be on the east side of 205?
Yeah. On the south end of Harney Lake.
The Harney Lake's on the
On the
other
other
side of
side.
the road.
Yeah, Harney Lake's on the right side, isn't it?
Yeah, Harney's
Mount
right
Here's-
below Andory's, Pete. Mount Here's on the other side of 205. But actually, it sounded like it was getting pretty close to home there. You grew up out there, that's all.
You've probably been in.
Well, I'm not sure if it's Mickey Hot, or if it's the Eagles Nest Hot Springs, it's really a pretty nice hot spring.
Yeah.
Can you
That one
tell
came up
from these
before, and
maps?
I knew that one.
Can you tell from these maps?
Right.
Oh, I have got my glasses.
Right down here, Larry.
Listen,
You are.
So it is, it's Harney, Eagle Nest is over
Yeah, because
here.
here's your,
well, where's the refuge road? Right here?
That's the highway.
Eagles Nest is right in here.
Right, so we're down here on this point.
Oh, you're right below Weed Lake View.
Yeah.
Kind of sort of.
4 miles northeast of Weed.
You're good. I've never been to that one.
I thought Eagles Nest first right off the bat, and I was like, nope,
Well-
that one's not a name, what are you guys
Yeah, I
talking
already have
about?
some name, yeah.
It's not.
Thank you, people.
Thank you. Yeah, so it is what's the
I'm not opposed.
I'm not opposed. The name fits the area, in my opinion. And so we just
there's no objection.
no objections, it's not a vote, and I get back to them and let them know to go forward. So the information was furnished by a guy named Champ Vaughn, he's a retired BLM person. You know Champ, Jeff?
Not by that name, but that doesn't mean that I don't know him, so.
He was a land and minerals adjudication program manager at Lake Oswego.
Oh, yeah, no.
Bruce Fisher is from Oregon Geographic Names Board, president, who provided this information and request to the Oregon Geographic Name Board. Okay. We acknowledge no issues. I will notify. The new business, item 2, road naming request notification. Application submitted by David and Michael Moss, Ruzi. We have our roadmaster here.
It's an application for an approach, not a road name.
Sorry.
Should be an approach, and I've looked at it, no issues. They're using it temporarily right now. And, you know, it's perfectly fine. Not on a corner, not on a hill. And so I don't see a reason to deny the approach.
This is in the town of Druzy.
Yes. Right off the Market Road.
No,
Questions?
Nope. Sounds fine to me. I move to approve the application for the road approach of David and Michael Moss of 78896 A Street, Druzy, the A Street intersection at Market Road, approximately 200 feet, tax lot 300.
Moved and seconded to approve the approach for David and Michael Moss, 78896 A Street, Druzy, Oregon, off of Market Road. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And opposed. Motion carries. Item 3, resolution 2021-06, drought declaration for Harney County. So, we've had side discussions on this. It's happening all around us, and a lot of Lake County has. And interesting, Commissioner Shulman and I had a little bit of discussion on it. So our snowpack was a little bit normal this year, but it's just come off weird. And then Monday morning on the radio, we had Tony Spade car and another right up by 5 Mile Dam. Oh,
I didn't get a listen to
sure.
this.
Mine was like, she worked for Big Country for years.
Anyhow.
Anyway, he was on there with Tony and he's saying the exact same thing about how it's come off different and it's leaving them in some great concern for the summer and water and drought and it's going to affect things. Commissioner Shulman mentioned ranchers are cutting their curb sizes and taking different precautions already. So we know this allows our ranchers some relief programs through the CR.
And also FSA,
FSA.
drought insurance.
Yeah, so it's our due diligence to
Do the declarations.
to do it, and then as an NRAC will start leaning in on what that actually triggers for us and get the word out to everybody how it's available. So.
Mitch Baker.
Mitch.
That didn't come to me.
Trying to think of who all was up there.
So has our emergency management
No,
coordinator gotten involved in this yet?
well, she, almost the same day we were talking, she emailed me and I said, we were already talking about it, I'll have it on the agenda. As soon as we sign it, it goes into her hands, she'll turn it into the state proper level and handle it like we have in the past.
I move to approve resolution number 2021-06 in the matter of declaration of local disaster and request to declare a state drought emergency for Harney County, Oregon.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve resolution 2021-06 in the matter of a declaration of local disaster and a request to declare state drought emergency for Harney County, Oregon. On this 5th day of May. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And opposed. Carried. Susie? Your copy. Item 4, NREC, resignation.
So we had a resignation of Bill Wilbur from the NRAC, so his position is now vacant. He felt like where he travels down south for the winter for 4 months of the year, that it would be better filled by someone who is here year-round, so putting it out there for any applicants that would like to join the Natural Resource Advisory Committee.
Does he fill a certain slot or not? Or, you know?
Just kind of the public at large, so.
So we've advertised, the county's advertised for that.
Yeah,
those
so we'll
positions.
put it out on the website. I'll get hold of Cindy this afternoon to do that.
Take letters of interest. Hopefully by next meeting, have some.
Yeah,
Are those for particular terms? I don't remember.
yeah, they do have terms associated with them. Some of
They're
them
2 years. is the
staggered
max.
terms.
When we started it, we did some ones and some twos. And then they'll all be twos.
Yeah, now they're all immersion on twos, so it was different.
So will this be to fulfill an unexpired term or just get appointed and proceed? Or,
It would fill his term.
when would that expire?
He just got put back on.
Okay. All right.
Here's some late thing I meant to get, and then a late edition. This was brought to me by Park and Rec the other day. They want to terminate our intergovernmental agreement for the walking trail. And it is it's in the contract that in 60 days notice by either party, and this can happen. So their letter asks that it be effective on June 30th, so we will uphold their bargain until that date.
What's the gist of this contract?
Just, so if somebody wanted to do something on the trail that didn't come to us, they have to say. Now it's gonna be back in the county's hands.
Have there been a lot of issues lately, or requests, or demands, or?
Like they said, Eric always goes down and takes care, they'll kind of blade it
The
down or
weeds and
straighten it
stuff?
up, and Jim will spray weeds, we kind of do the maintenance. Last fall, y'all remember, city went in there and did some
Yeah.
major,
Things that we talked before.
did some major weed modification. So I'll make sure the cities are aware that it's back in our hands. and Deal with us. Interestingly enough, the day before, I mean, I knew this was coming, they'd called talking, had an individual come in and he was riding a electric bike on the trail. So you pedal it or you can flip over to electric. And he got stopped by a gentleman who was walking his dog, not on a leash. As soon as he saw him, he put his dog on a leash. And then stopped him and said, you can't have no motors on this trailer. There were signs on either end that say, no gas-powered vehicles. Cars, Jeeps, four-wheelers, motorcycles. I really think an electric bike is an exception. It could be allowed, in my opinion. They're not loud, they're not tearing up the track. He says, so what do I do if he stops me again? And I gave him 3 business cards, and I said, tell him I'm talking to him.
That'd be the same as a wheelchair, electric wheelchair.
Really would, yeah.
You can't.
There's gotta be some common sense. And I said, yes, well, as he called his dog back and put him on a leash when he saw you, I said, flip it off the electric and pet him. And people can just be so.
Deal with it. We must all deal with things and not have government prevent you to have to deal with things.
So, I haven't had any visits yet, but anyway, that's gonna be back in our church, and it really doesn't change a lot. They just, Park and Rec's going through a change, I would say.
Where are they located now?
Moved from,
They just have a martial arts thing now, or what?
no, they moved, yeah, they're,
Did they move from that plaza?
yeah.
I guess I better go back and look into it. See that space.
There's fine with it.
Did I hear they were in with kids?
They're done, they moved.
They
I
moved
mean,
somewhere
once, and I think I heard they're not gonna open the pool again this summer, so that typically that's their summer office, but
So are
they're just, they're having challenges too, I guess is a good way to put it, and trying to figure out what, just where they should fit in, and some
They're a
Parks and Recs.
taxing district, right? They're special taxing district.
Some Parks and Rec districts do a ton of things. This one's been somewhat limited, the kids' sports and the pool. They could do a lot more. And I think our community would utilize more. Takes leadership and vision and dedicated board.
Not a lot.
We all know how that goes.
Yeah.
So,
So he was in because of Park and Rec.
So there's 2 vacancies on the election board.
We can't get people to serve, so they ended up out of quorum now.
the taxing district goes away. And then bring us more money.
There should be something in the paper about that, to get some.
Signings.
Who's the, current president of
Chara, the Chara son, Lynn, McClintock has been on, but she might be going off. Tara Woodworth, my niece, has been on the board for a while, and she's the one that brought this to me.
Rachel Bodine's on it too. And they're trying.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out just where they should fit and be, and take over part of the community, I think.
Well, I think, they have some opportunities if they would just grasp them. People always need to work for a long time. They want to cover for a long time. And there's opportunities for that organization if they just.
I should talk to, the Burns, city manager and the Burns city council, or both city councils, but just to hear, because I know that Burns, now that it's doing a lot of, really delving into things, they now already have some plans that would be an exact awesome fit that could engage everyone. I don't know, I'm just saying it's worth a conversation. I didn't know any of that was happening, so it's good to know.
Yeah, I'm not in the loop.
I'll try to find out when the next meeting is, maybe go sit down. Report back.
That would be helpful. So
I hate to see
guard
it.
if something does go down.
You know, all organization groups have their ups and downs, over time, but hopefully theirs can be
Well, it's
strengthened.
a valuable to the community, incredibly valuable for positive youth development.
The few youth that
Oh,
go
yeah.
there, which I don't actually go there, but I see a lot of kids there when I drive by.
Okay, meeting, sorry about that late item, I didn't get it over here. She brought it in Friday. Town Club. So, we had that little webinar and deal with it. Commissioner Doral was on that.
I I got
You made
all
that,
that.
so you got it.
Yeah, I didn't have the link and then I sent it.
I like it. I would like to see us go paperless. Which you kind of advocated for, I mean, we still have to have paper resolutions.
I mean, I
et cetera, et cetera.
liked it. I know that since, what always is challenging, and Dag and Carrie know this, is, you know, because I usually do have some edits to happen, they make the edits, whoever makes the edits, but then I'm not sure what their process is for labeling things on the hard drive as to which is the most recent one for approval, but so many times you come in here and it's not the one, even though I know they edited it, they even kind of maybe sent it out and it's not the one in our packet.
And that's a struggle that we found, that we have too many versions of it by the time we're done. You have one, you have one, you have one, I have two.
Which
Carrie
I
has
think
one,
it
so
just
which one
sort
was
of
the last
saves the
one?
latest one and then you
With
go
that
back and look at the
history.
part.
Yeah,
I
This
thought
one
that
saves
was
the
a
last one,
good
and then we
feature.
don't have so many fingers
That,
in it.
I liked that a
I mean,
lot.
I think, from what I saw on that application, I think it streamlines our process, it makes us transparent. It puts all of our minutes, our packets, everything in one spot where everyone can see them.
So the only question I had after the meeting was if we ever go away from them, how do you?
Well, I mean, we have our discussions with him next week, I want to know, so if we end up discontinuing, where's our data, do we get our data?
Yeah, that was like
That
my
question needs
biggest.
to be.
Because right now you
agreed
would have,
upon.
it would be,
On their cloud.
we'd click a link that would get
Yeah,
onto their cloud to
because they're
show the
hosting
minutes
it.
and the.
So I wanted to know, can we obtain our data back for archiving? We would need to do that, which I would do it anyway, because I would,
But we need a process.
so I would have a process where we're archiving anyway. Because we have to, I've got a microphone in my law, so that's a process that we have on the back end, so. That's a question to ask, but I think I'm excited to try this out and to see how it works and what kinks we need to work out and how we do it. I think it's a good tool.
And, I mean, I'm fine to continue to provide the input I do as I
Yeah.
do, but if there's a way to,
Well, and there could, yeah,
to save you guys
Let's
having
find
me
it.
coming over
Access
and.
Right, I
wasn't
mean-
that hard to
no, I don't think it.
video.
I mean, I don't wanna pay for another subscription just
If we don't
for me to
need
do
it.
that, but,
Yeah.
you know,
But we
if
can
there were a
find
way
it.
for me to, you could
But we
log on,
can
I
find a
sit there and do
solution
it.
to do that and then, yeah.
Make it good.
And just so we didn't talk about the price, but this is incredibly inexpensive, I felt,
For
for
the
what
time
we're
that
getting.
we saved.
Yeah, so.
So we signed up for free trial until the end of June, so our next meeting will be working it. And then we signed up for monthly for a year, but you can
Yeah.
stop at any time. We've identified we could pay for it out of clerk records funds,
So
which
we've got the general fund.
we haven't done that one in budget yet. So we've put in the lines, we'll talk about it next Wednesday, and it will start July 1, so we have a way to do it, not hit general fund, if we fill it out, have a pro. My question is, I mean, I do ALC meetings, I turn off the agenda, then I just watch, then I look at everything electronically. I have to
And
quit
this-
printing off all these papers, it's just
And this will
not worth
allow
it.
for that, because we'll have it all in there.
It's all, yeah, same for the.
We'll need paper for the
AOC packets.
resolutions,
Yeah.
everything we need to sign, we'll have stock paper. But then we need
Well,
to
we
bring
can
our
always
laptops in.
print. You know,
Yeah,
if
you
it's
can
something that I want printed, I
Yeah.
can print it.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
you don't have to print 3 copies if not everybody wants a copy.
We would bring our laptops in, I guess, or if we wanted to separate from that and have a notebook or an iPad just for our court meetings, we can possibly
Good luck,
look at.
Barb.
Thanks, Barb.
Thanks, Mark.
We could probably possibly look at that.
But it may be just as easy to have your laptops, because
Yeah, I just
everything you
think
have is on there
that-
anyway. So you, I mean, it's just as easy to pull it.
And
And we
make
can
sure
use
have
this
enough
for,
plugins.
we can use this for the budget.
And I can't get
meetings
my
as
plug-in
well,
out
so
of
it'll
my
be a
own.
neat tool.
Wait,
Wait,
my
my
budget
on
doesn't
my
put it together.
laptop.
Yeah.
But we can figure that out.
We
So,
can order a new
I already asked them, he said, very hard, it's harder than you think.
Which, do you have it down?
Yeah.
So,
You can get it.
I've asked him to have a spare hand, because when that Monday I worked from home for
Yeah.
everything, my computer died in 2 hours. The way my desk was put together, I
Oh, you
can't get
can't get to
to
it,
the dang
yeah.
thing. And I'd asked Jeremy to get a spare on hand so we could borrow it, and he says, it's easier said than done.
Because they're all different, every single one. Would you really think so?
I tried every recorder I had at home.
Or be an e-baby.
I'm sure I can get it out. Turn that this
Let's come up with plan
Maybe
B.
that'd be a better.
I can't do it right now. Cyrus.
Anyway, this
Hey,
was
Pete,
like,
go get that cord.
we're talking $50 a month for like, it's a pretty cool system. I mean, it's not an elaborate thing.
No, I
It
like
just-
the
Pretty
simplicity
simple.
of
It
it,
was
but yet the
simple.
effectiveness. of it.
Yeah, simple and transparent, yet still does what we need to do, I think.
The guy
And
asked,
we get to try it. If we hate it, we're out. So.
Yeah.
the guy asked how we were doing it right now. And Daggus, we go, start out with a paper agenda and all our paper, we got folders, and he goes, you're not really any different than most of what I've seen across the country.
And their goal is to help that. That was the whole goal, which I think
It's really just clean up.
this.
Not that hard.
Yeah.
You have the stuff, you have folders for each one of the stuff that you're dealing with.
Yeah, it automatically
Click on the
puts
folder
everything
and
into
open
that.
it up.
Yeah, it'll be.
I don't know if that's what they have, but I mean,
It's
it's pretty
similar
damn
to that.
simple.
Yeah.
It is, it's a nice, simple format like that.
And then for you, Patty, the dates would be right there on when things occur, which should be.
Yeah, because it'll link to those things in there, so.
So it's not like you have all the email addresses and of who needs your stuff, paper, newspaper, everybody, and then anytime an update's made, you move it from here to here, and people come in
Yeah,
and
it's essentially.
updated information. But there's also a holding area where you can be reviewing it in the background.
And I would, if that would facilitate things, including our quick review of the minutes as soon as
Mhm.
they've been written. I mean, it would be great. I'm not against unapproved minutes at all going to paper quickly, but they have to
They've gotta
have
be-
been
they've
looked
gotta
at
be
by us
finished,
and
like-
accommodate at least our first,
The first
any
look.
major things we catch before it goes to paper. But people do want to have the county court stuff back in the paper. Of course, the
Yes.
paper doesn't send anyone, but at least that way we can get the minutes.
Need new paper.
Side note,
No.
I'm touching that one.
Well, it weighs more than half an ounce.
Oh, there's the rest of the letter, microscope. All right, I guess we can do water use request real quick and then go to our accounts payable before 11:30. Extension. And transfer.
It's just extensions of time of effect, until May 27, 2021. For both of these. And I got a different set.
2025, first.
However, I mean, that's what they requested, but
It doesn't have something.
I don't know. I guess I'm not.
I'm surprised at these two certificate issuances. Harney now here.
I only got 2 pages. Is there more?
That one?
No, I didn't get that.
That's surprising.
Oh, no, that's not right now, there's nothing legally to stop them from continuing to sign this.
Water out there.
That's the, it depends on who it is. There is water, but just,
Did you get one for Stronghold?
yeah.
Okay. One for Temple? Yeah, sing those.
No.
You wanna? Other correspondence. Before our next meeting, we're going out to train on Monday evening, on the 17th.
Yeah, it's coming right up.
And where do we meet?
Probably just at the office.
We meet the superintendent's office, or?
They've got, so right across from like the dorms, just north of the dorms, is the high school office, and they've actually put in a.
Oh. Yeah.
Improvements, so that we can see people coming in, and so we can just be right there before you.
Okay.
I was gonna head out for you, yes. You'll come from your home, so.
What was that?
I said, you'll come from your house.
Yeah.
Is there any that she hasn't signed?
Oh, yeah.
I've only signed two. There was a Burns Airport Committee meeting yesterday, and that was good. It had three Burns City Councilors, it had the Burns City Manager, myself, and two aviators who, operate out of the airport, and Walt and Pat Sitz, and the BLM person who, for the fire stuff. And they have 3 grants coming in. One is just to, basically improve some of the interior of the terminal and the restroom. One is to address the Phase 1 apron project that needs to be done, and then a lot of money for a master plan effort, which is exactly what's needed, so that was good news. And they're gonna be having a new website for the city of Burns that will also be improved for functions for the airport. And then the rest was just general discussion, but it was good to see that coming active again, because they've been inactive for a while. And their finances are very challenging, but at least they're being addressed now. And it's progress.
Dan, he's a little frustrated with that lease on that BLM building.
Yeah. So is,
Out there at airport.
well,
BLM owns it.
well, during the meeting,
I understood.
she said stuff, and he said, no, that's not right, and it went like that, and he said, let's have a conversation, and she had all the documents for the lease. He said, well, the lease has gotta be renegotiated for review this year. And she said, no, not till 2024. I mean, there was a big disconnect on stuff, so they'll sort
I
that
didn't get
out.
all the story.
Yeah, I mean,
I won't comment, I don't know.
hey, does Design Journeys, did they get a raise, so to speak,
No.
in previous years? So,
No, but they have some
And it's
annual
internet
fund.
security.
Yeah, there's
is
some.
this every month?
No, it's an annual.
Okay.
They have 2 outside contract.
And how is,
Security certificates, they have to purchase security. I think there's 2.
how are the efforts, if any, going on redesigning our website or improving it?
Just what I've asked her to do, she's done.
Wasn't Jeremy and other people trying to work on some ideas on that?
No.
Or what are you,
Bryce had a different version.
what have you asked her to do? Curious.
You could access the cities in 2 different places, if we removed that. We've got just the last 6 months of minutes and meetings on us in the years and years. Just took the video off to help the speed.
Okay.
All the things we talked about, and if I see different things that seem like it's redundant or duplicated, I reach out to her and show her. But as far as the basic change designs, it's still the same. But she did acknowledge it. She said, man, I thought, it seems like we just did this, but she was like, it's been 4 years. Oh, she can set up access here, so we can go in and do something, update, training somebody about that. We haven't moved on that, but that is an option too. Because I know to me, the frustrating thing is stuff that stays on there for so long that we shouldn't have to. You think she'd
But
watch
it
it.
would have a time frame.
Yeah,
that-
a tickler, so you go back and take it off after so long.
So
But
if
then
I,
again, sometimes we have, like a nurse posting, will be running for months, if you fill it, you almost lose them just as fast. So you just, some of them just, you kind of get stuck in that rut, that it does need attention.
so is there the ability of department heads and various people to contact her directly when they need something changed in and out?
They do it a lot.
And some not as often as others because it becomes out of sight, out of mind, I think. I mean, I'm guilty.
But most of us don't visit our
Yeah.
own website very
It just,
How about, on a different topic, our Facebook page or pages that are county, is there different people that administer those? How does that work?
Dag usually hits it more than anybody. I need to get on there, I can get on there, Dag and I think are the only two. I need to get on there and take off some. When COVID first started and the meetings with Kirby and we were sitting in the courtroom talking. That's something that's cleaned up. But that's, Dag does, he's the one that puts the new nice pictures on there and changes the picture.
So when is the elected officials compensation committee going to be meeting?
Next Tuesday, 5 o'clock.
Next Tuesday, 5 o'clock. And is that open to the public or not?
This first meeting is just, they all agreed on the time, they can be here. Dag and I are gonna meet, tell them, just give them, I guess, ground rules or tell them what,
well, yeah,
and turn it over and
try
then we
to
walk away.
Try to provide them, if there's something they request of us that we can gather for them, we'll do that. And then we're gonna just walk away.
And then they'll come, they, however many meetings they take, and they come back with a recommendation to the county court. And then we don't react that day, and we put it on the agenda for the next meeting and decide if we want to act on it or not. So that is set and going.
I mean, they'll have several meetings, right?
Many things.
Well, to me, they feel comfortable. I don't think it'll be done by budget time.
Yeah,
It doesn't really matter.
No, I don't think they need to rush this.
I have asked Karen if there's something should be implemented, as far as the CAFA grant. I remember Ted Tiller telling me you can never go up your original numbers, you can go down, they don't care, but you go up, they're gonna say something. So what do we do if this committee comes back, recommends increases, we implement them, we're out of line with our CAFA grant. She's pretty confident we can put in an amendment to it. But, well,
So they'll either grant it or they won't. I mean, that's just the reality.
so it's all more the reason that we need to make sure it's part of our annual orders. We get on sooner each year. We've got plans for that, so.
Commissioner Shellman, were you able to talk to the assessor?
No, I have nothing to do.
I think I'll just bring up the topic in general, though.
Yeah.
Right now, it's part of just general deliberations. So, for this community-based water planning, specifically for the CREP program, which is that Department of Ag, state, and federal, partnership to have a program that will, that some of the irrigators can apply for to see if they qualify to basically surrender their water right and be paid for the value of about 15 years worth of irrigation to stop right away and incentivize some of the water use to stop in the basin. It requires a more current and fair market value of what, irrigated agricultural land or something? Forget the
The
term.
rental
The rental rate?
rate especially is one of the major ones
And
that is out of date.
And it's a big complicated grant, obviously, that a professional contractor is working on behalf of the collaborative, but, and the states are involved, OWEB and all that, but the Harney County piece is that we need to have that rental rate. And I stopped in to see Karen the other day and just said, is that available? Or, that was being talked about at a meeting, and I think they were thinking.
But she told me when I talked to her last fall about it, that they'd be reviewing it this spring, so we're like, okay, we can wait till then. But then in conversation with Patty the other day.
She indicated there's no way it can be done anytime this calendar year at all. And I said, why, and she said, staffing challenges, and I said, well.
She does have that.
She's losing two.
Right, and I said, well, can it be contracted by someone, if there is someone who has the skill set to do it, whether it's a retired person that she mentioned was she said it was last end of 2012, something about that year, that was the last year a lot of things got done, it seemed like, and so it's definitely due to be done anyway, but this has a specific thing that is important to Harney County and its water situation. So I asked her, and I said, can you at least check to see if that's something that, she said she didn't know if she could even be able to contract for it if the county had the money to pay the contractor. And I said, well, can you at least statutorily check or your rules? And she said she'd get back to me this week. I haven't checked with her yet. But that's, if you have some ideas on that, that would be great, because it needs to
When
be
the
done.
FSA does their part, they look at our numbers as what that value would be projected to the participants in that program.
It's been 9 years, probably. It's pretty good. There's probably a variety of things it's used for that I'm not aware of, but.
Yeah, definitely rates or values or whatnot are changing.
Yeah, they've changed
Drastically.
a lot, and so we need to make sure that that's noted.
I don't know if I mentioned to you guys, but I recorded a deed for a 1983 double wide in the Norris edition for $93,250.
93?
Guess I'll
That's
be-
how desperate people are for
Yeah.
some real estate.
I know people that moved here 6 months ago, have 5 kids and have been turned down for 2 rental kids. That's just too many kids for the rental, according to the landlord. And they're now going to move to Nampa because they can't
They can't find a place to
find
live.
here that they can get a hold of.
A lot of kids would add to the school budget there.
Yeah, it would have been a
Yeah, no
good,
kidding.
actually, they were homeschooled, but.
Okay. Oh, that's pretty challenging. I don't know if there's any of the repeat that I haven't signed.
No, very good.
So is this one credited twice? It's the same exact amount.
It's different funds.
What figure is that now?
It's a refuge payment. Did you get the breakdown of that? For the refuge? At the very back, there's a breakdown of the refuge payments. See if you can find that amount there. Different. At the back. So it's very. It's actually lists.
I can't guarantee that even if we bring our laptops and try to go paperless, that I will go paperless. I just
No,
want
I
to know that.
I get
I'm
it.
a-
I agree.
I would love to, but my little brain doesn't always go there.
I print out lots.
But
Having
I,
black type shows each school and different, it's things like
I just saw that recently.
that. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
It, I signed it just a few minutes ago, and I don't know if it got passed down or just set here, but. Let's see. I don't think it's this. Oh, I saw it. Because, so you have it credited that way. It looked like it was credited twice on this. Just the way it reads, it shows a credit amount there and a credit amount same amount there.
That's credit to different departments, I wonder if that, if you enter both departments twice.
That would be the road fund one.
Right?
280. So it shows here we're going to the county school fund. Like here, there maybe, there was that, but then here it doesn't show where it, and the others show where that figure went, this one does not.
Yeah. You saw it down at
I just don't know why we'd have the 50,000 on there twice.
unless you credited it twice.
Does it get credited in, because you credit the 76
So it
and
comes,
then
the
it
payment, the
gets
full
this
payment comes in.
first.
Full payment comes into wherever. Fund that she distributes taxes out in 6/19. But we have to pull our share out of it before we, no, they calculate the percentages to the schools.
Yeah.
But then our shares come off before the rest goes out.
But the original amount was only 76,000. Here it's broke down into the road and the school. But then where would the additional credit for that amount be generated from?
That looks right to me.
Yeah, like this is
Yeah.
correct,
Unless, like I say, unless she entered it twice and went back and fixed something.
because there's 208, the schools, 208, 202, but then one that is see, it's 208, 13234, and this one's 1500.
So 3 is a revenue. 5 is an expense, 3 is a revenue. 1 is, I don't know what that means. It's a bookkeeping something. I mean, it's somewhere where she does her. Remember 5's expense, 3 is revenue.
I mean, that one has a 6179, it's a 617, but then,
Yeah, so that's,
okay, I
So
think
that's-
that the 617 is here, and then it gets distributed into the 280.
it's first 6 and 7 is it's an expense line.
Yeah.
And it's a revenue line, so it's, I'm talking in reverse.
Okay. They come in, get distributed, and then go back out.
Yeah.
The minutes are really good, by the way. I think every time just put me on this list. It's gonna meet us, a start line is like, just for the record, it'll be accurate, and then it says conference room, floor please, uppercase, and it's nothing substantive. I think probably figure, oh yeah, more steady, so much.
Thank you for doing
Yeah.
this. This actually works best, and this is how we can keep it down to one version, which would be the one I have.
Yeah,
It's not-
yeah.
I mean, it's just easier that way.
One of the things I've asked Dag to do is, generally on minutes, is if it's unanimous, say unanimously, not just carried, if it's, you know, just for accuracy. And he said, sure, and he's already
I'll
started to do it.
I can do that. Normally, it's, when it's not unanimous, we have to specify who it's not, so it's generally,
Yeah,
it's
but,
just a given. If it's
Yeah.
not, we specify who voted no, so.
true, but it, something can be
It's every
carried by a
not a big
majority,
deal.
not
It's-
unanimously.
It's just not what, it's just
Clarification.
whatever's appealing to the eye.
I have to keep my reputation as the minutes Nazi.
The back of Patty's head.
Which is
On back of Patty's head.
I think she was an English teacher in her previous life. Or always
I was a
desired-
business major,
or
and I
always
was a
desired to
Marine. Green officers have to do a lot of writing and orders and complicated stuff, believe me. I realized, I went, wow. I got most of my administrative, whatever, from the
License
Marine
from the
Corps, believe it or
Marines.
not because I was a woman either. They all do it. So you gotta do it right. You were a business major, weren't you, Dad?
Public administration.
Public administration.
Public what?
Public administration.
You started in accounting and went, this is not a good fit.
Yeah.
It's a racket.
Yeah.
Too many exceptions to the exceptions. So is the clerk's office able to be open for business continuously now over the noon hours with the door open? Why?
We can't guarantee, but, one of our staff members is scheduled.
No.
We need to give them, it's just.
If that weren't the case, would you guys be doing
I've never one time been in favor, ever.
that? I know
And
that.
I still won't be.
But
so-
that was part of the rationale and the changes in moving the
Well, and we
offices and
attempted it, and
sharing.
we've proven that it doesn't work that well, and I can't be consistent. And if I can't be consistent, I'm not gonna try to do it, so. We just can't guarantee that there's somebody there to do, because there isn't. I mean, at some point in time, somebody's gonna go lunch.
Yeah, I know, but
But if we only have one staff person, there's no guarantee that I have to be there during lunch, so I can't do that consistently. The legislature sets my hours, and I'm hard-nosed about this because I'm not gonna be micromanaged. I absolutely.
what do you mean the legislature sets your
The
hours?
legislature sets my office hours,
What are they?
9 to 4, Monday through Friday.
So that includes from 12 to 1.
From the big first hour and the last hour. You can argue I want to, Commissioner, but if you can find staff who wants to come and do what we need to do in our office, and answer the justice court phone, and answer the circuit court phone, happy to do that.
I
We
continue
have one
to want to evolve to where that office is open over the lunch.
Okay, is
That's
yours
my-
open? Is yours open?
No, but I don't provide the
Okay, my point
services.
taken.
You provide services, I mean, I meet
I
at
know we
noon all
do,
the time with
but-
people and.
But during the
and
lunch
words.
hour, justice court provides services too, and they're not even open Monday.
I I guess you've answered my question. But I
I
do
can't do it
disagree with you,
consistently.
Tag, on that.
You can't do it consistently. The tax office isn't open in the lunch hour, they are during tax season.
Right.
My office is not the reception center for the courthouse. And if we are, then every office needs to be open. And so we can't consistently do that. We don't
I
have,
would disagree with
the
that.
planning department is not open during the lunch hour. They have way more foot traffic than we do, way more. Justice Court has far more foot traffic than I do. We just don't get, we warranted, it's not warranted, the folks are here, but no one comes in. And if I can't do it consistently, I would rather say the office is closed during the lunch hour than, oh, today they're open, but tomorrow they can't be because
I
there's nothing in
understand that
here. So
aspect.
that's why, I've never been a victim of because we just can't do it consistently across the board. In all due respect, I mean, I don't mean to be.
No,
it's just I'm
hear
passionate
you.
about that
I've
because-
never been satisfied with that answer, but I do hear you.
I know it's not ideal, but, we just don't have, if we can't do it consistently, I don't want to do it, and that's, right. That's one.
Am I there?
Yep.
I got it.
See you, Rick.
See you, Rick.
Next Wednesday,
Yep.
before we get through it.
Yeah.
I think we will. It's been moving along pretty good.
One was concerning with all the changes.
Yeah.
You still on the park and rec board?
Until July 1.
I couldn't remember if you were getting off or not.
I did not,
Yeah.
Tara and I did not read.
Oh, it's hard to.
Yeah.
What is the essence of the challenges for them?
For Park and Rec,
I mean, just while you're here, if you don't mind.
yeah,
We have a couple minutes.
yeah. For Park and Rec, this is totally off the record, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. A functional board to really come together and get things done. It's taken us 4 years to get a functional board, and 2 of us are not coming back. And nobody stepped up to do this. But we finally got policies in place, or working towards policies that hold management accountable. And that was our key, was to hold management accountable. I even see some backsliding even now as I'm stepping away. I would like to look at a different model. We have a lot of entities vying for the same group of youth. And I
Is
would,
Parks and Rec totally youth oriented?
and that, no, our mission statement was broadened to adults. And to be honest with you, I hope our last event did not cause a super spreader. Because we did a cornhole tournament at the Elks, and it was fun. People had a good time. There was food and alcohol, and it was inside. So I don't know how many people. We had 19 teams, so that's 2 times 19. We're hitting the 50. So I don't know, and I hope that people do not get.
I was gonna say, I've noticed that the Burn City Manager, of course, is really doing a lot, and his city councilors are really becoming quite active right now on, all the topics. But I don't know if reaching out to him, might be worth hearing that they've already got some thoughts on something that relates to Parks and Rec work at all, but that might be something where someone might want to do.
Okay.
I mean,
Also, Kirby's been doing things with his particular grant program to expand a walking trail, kind of impinged on the county's land. A lot of pushback on that via community members of Pine. I do think that as much as I held on to the trail, it is now coming back to you guys as of today.
Just accepted it.
And I go, I pushed for it to stay because I think it's a great asset to our community and to have it under Park and Rec. But we're trying to focus mostly on the pool. That is our biggest asset, and we want to build that up.
Okay, thank you very
Yeah.
much, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
That information.
Okay, thanks for the side conversation. 11:30, county court is gonna go into,
You want the door closed?
no, into executive session under ORS 192.660. It's permitted. Number 2, the governing body of a public body may hold an executive session, A, to consider employment of a public officer, employee, staff member, or individual agent, to review and evaluate the employment-related performance of the chief executive officer of any public body, public officer, employee, or staff member who does not result in open hearing. So,
No. Does the mayor need to come up?
Yeah. Personnel.
and that one's on. County court is out of an executive session at 11:18 and 1:18, yep. And no action taken other than following the discussion to update the 2 job descriptions of county employees. Any further business before the board?
I think we're good.
We adjourn at 1:19 PM.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So you got fair board now?
Yes.
CRT tonight?
Yes.